That is how narcissists work. They believe the lies that they tell and they dig their heels in and they stick to it. They will gaslight you. They will manipulate you. They will create a story about you that is something that is Oscar worthy. None of it will be true, but they will tell it to anyone that will listen, because if they cannot control you, they want to control how people see you. Hi, I'm Angelique Letizia, a writer, director, and creator of the Call Cut Method. It's a tool to shift your frequency, rewrite your inner script, and realign you with the energy of your highest potential. This podcast is your behind-the-scenes pass to alchemizing that energy. So if you're ready to interrupt the script, reclaim your power, and write your story that you were actually born to live, you're in the right place. Hi friends, welcome back to Call Cut with Angelique. I'm Angelique, and today we're going to discuss the empath and the narcissist, a dynamic that has been playing out in human relationships since the beginning of time. Now, considering that we live in a polarity where we have the extremes of the negative and the positive, it makes sense that an empath and a narcissist would be oddly attracted to each other. We're going to get into these dynamics and how these dynamics can be incredibly toxic if they are not healed. But before we begin, I do want to offer a disclaimer that these are my opinions and my experiences that I am sharing with you. Please take what resonates and leave the rest. So let's begin. Narcissism is a psychological disorder where somebody lacks empathy and they have an overinflated sense of self, but they come on strong. So when you first meet a narcissist, you are oddly attracted to them because they're charismatic, they're usually fun, bigger than life, and they love bomb you. A hallmark of a narcissist is this love bombing where they become the best friend you ever had. And that's because narcissists are very good at honing in on you and figuring out all of your weaknesses and how to play into each of those weaknesses. They manipulate, they gaslight, they lie. When they can't control you, they want to control how other people see you. Because from an energetic standpoint, these are what we would call energy vampires. The empath is somebody who can feel very, very deeply, where the narcissist lacks empathy and doesn't feel any compassion or can't relate to this plight of another human being. The empath is on the complete opposite side of the polarity spectrum. They feel everything. Even if somebody is smiling, they sense that something is off. Empaths are what we call energetically porous. And that's where we start to get into an empath versus narcissist kind of battle, right? Because we start to see where an empath will be attracted to the narcissist because the narcissist gives them love, attention, adoration. We get caught in these traps very, very easily because someone wants to be loved, someone wants to be worshipped. The minute the empath gets that adoration that they've been looking for, they put that narcissist on a pedestal. And that is what the narcissist is looking for. They're looking for that pedestal. They're looking for that I'm the savior. They will consistently tell you stories, and every story they will ever tell you, they are the hero of the story. They came in at the last minute and saved the day. They will glorify their own importance in order to create the illusion that they should be adored. One of the first things that an unhealed empath will have to deal with and face on their spiritual journey is empowerment. The idea that you need to empower yourself. You cannot get validation externally. You have to get it internally. It is a self-love game. And an unhealed empath is deeply lacking self-love. They are looking for love outside of themselves and giving away their precious life force energy in order to receive it. And they do it in the form of people pleasing. A different kind of love bombing where they think, well, if I love this person so much and I just give them all this love, then maybe they'll change, or maybe they will step into their highest potential, or maybe they'll be somebody other than who they are. This is because empaths actually have a spiritual gift where they can see into the soul of a human being. And this is a really, really cool gift, and it's not something that should be taken lightly. However, just because you can see the potential of a soul because you're seeing through the bias, perspective, and filter of your own goodness does not mean that that person isn't on a shadowed path. And if they are on the shadowed path, they may not be an energetic match for you. And if somebody isn't an energetic match for you, whether it's a parent, a friend, a coworker, or a lover, there is going to be an imbalance in that relationship. And when we deal with an imbalance in these kinds of relationships, the relationships become toxic. And there are different levels of toxicity in every relationship. Not every single narcissistic, empathetic relationship is this, knockdown, drag out war, but they can be. And they can get really ugly if they're not dealt with. My father was such a brilliant narcissist that you could go to dinner with him. He'll sit there with you and eat a pizza and you'll have pizza. You'll get back to wherever it is you were going and someone will say, "Hey, what'd you guys have for dinner?" And he would say, "A salad." And you'd be like, "No, what are you talking about? We had pizza." "No, I had a salad." And you'd say, "No, I watched you. We had pizza." And he'd say, "No, absolutely not. I had a salad." And by the time he was done telling the world he had a salad, you would question whether or not he did, in fact, have a salad and you missed it. That is how narcissists work. They believe the lies that they tell and they dig their heels in and they stick to it. They will gaslight you. They will manipulate you. They will create a story about you that is something that is Oscar worthy. None of it will be true, but they will tell it to anyone that will listen because if they cannot control you, they want to control how people see you. I'm going to give you another example. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been around a certain person and suddenly you are exhausted? You have a headache. You have a migraine. I get migraines because my body loves to tell me, "Warning, warning, warning, you are in the presence of a narcissist." And I love to ignore it. Fascinating human this one is. And I don't pay any attention to it and ultimately end up on the other side of some sort of betrayal or some sort of drama that I didn't sign up for, allegedly, but I clearly did because I'm in it. And I say to myself, how do you keep making the same mistake over and over and over? Because there's a lesson behind these relationships. And especially for an empath, a lesson is finding your power. You cannot find your power unless you come up against somebody who tries to take it from you. And a narcissist is the perfect person who's going to take it from you. They're down for the job, right? "Hey, I'm attracted to your light. I think you're pretty cool. I think you're awesome. I'm really attracted to you. I love this person," right? And narcissists do that. They are super attracted to you, but the thing you have to know about a narcissist is what they love about you is also what they envy in you. So you have to be really careful once they have identified themselves as a narcissist, and they will not tell you this, but their energy will and their actions will. And I will get to how to spot a narcissist momentarily. Once they identify themselves, it's up to you to make sure that you do everything in your power to protect yourself. So when you're around a narcissist and you're an empath, and you're starting to see these signs, the gaslighting, the manipulation, the lying, they like to keep tabs on you. They want to go deep into your life, your dreams, all the things that mean something to you in order to control you, in order to get information on you. So when you decide that you're sovereign and you're going to break free of their control, they're going to take you down. They're going to tell everybody about you. And at some point, you have to concede that something is wrong here. And there's something you are not looking at. There is something that you are not paying attention to that you need to be paying attention to. So how does one remove themselves from a narcissist? How does one even know they're dealing with a narcissist? Narcissists are the people that are constantly making you doubt yourself. They say things to you, they drop little backhanded compliments, they make you feel like you're not worthy. They say things that make you question their loyalty. They try to put you in situations that make you feel uncomfortable. They guilt you into doing things. These are not friends. These are people who have a deep psychological need, an ego, and they need to work through that shadow. But you also have work to do, because when we don't put up our boundaries and we don't say no and we don't put our foot down right from the very beginning and set those standards from the moment we have in our first interaction with people, we open ourselves up to their bad behavior. So as an empath, you have to be really strong and you have to stand strong in your conviction and know that when you feel something off about your interactions with someone, you've got to know that is your body, that is your intuition, that is your soul giving you the information you need to protect yourself. And the lesson is to listen to it, and not just to listen to it, but to learn how to shield yourself, how to protect yourself so that you don't continue to bring those energies into your sphere. If we know that everything in the third dimension is energy, vibration, and frequency, then we know that if we are vibrating at a certain level and somebody wants that level, they can hook in to your energy and drain it. And they literally take your energy. Now, I've had people say to me that that's not real, but it is absolutely real. Energy transfer is happening all around us all the time. Every single thing you interact with is giving you energy or draining energy, or neutral, meaning that you're meeting it at the same vibe or the same frequency. And so you're not losing and they're not losing. You're just kind of, those are times when you've gone out with somebody and you feel very excited and they feel very excited, and you notice that your energies are kind of ping-ponging back and forth. Those are great relationships because you know that you're on the same vibe, you're the same frequency, versus going out with somebody and feeling exhausted, or you can barely keep your eyes open, or you get a migraine. Those are energy drains. And so that means one person is giving more energy and the other is taking. And I want to use this example. I actually use this example in my book because I feel this is one situation where I really learned that I needed to protect my energy. I had a friend, he was a filmmaker friend of mine. He wanted to meet downtown to have a conversation about a potential project. I agreed. I went to the coffee shop. We had coffee. We were talking. It was great. Then he asked if I wanted to walk. Sure. We were downtown. I love to walk home. I was in Midtown West, so I loved the idea of just, strolling back uptown. The whole time he was talking, and when I mean talking, he barely took a breath. He didn't ask me any questions about anything. He told me about the project, and then he went on about a million other things about himself. And I'm happy to listen, because I'm happy to listen to anybody who's talking to me about their problems, issues, life, etc. I'm fascinated with humans. But this was different. I started to feel tired. So I stopped him halfway to my apartment and I said, listen, I'm going to go home because I really need to sleep and I'm feeling tired. Maybe it's the heat. To which he said, oh, I'll walk you home so you don't have to walk by yourself. And I thought, okay, well, that's very nice. And again, at this moment in time, I didn't really think he was the problem. So I felt weird, but I thought, okay, I can handle it. Let's walk back to the apartment. We walk back to the apartment and he says, oh, well, I can walk you up to the apartment just to make sure you get there okay. And the whole time yapping and yapping and yapping. And I'm feeling myself just get weaker and weaker and weaker. We get into the apartment and I pretty much fall into the chair. And instead of leaving, he sits on the couch and keeps talking. Incessantly talking and talking and talking. And at some point, I feel my body leaning down and I can no longer keep my eyes open. And I'm like, that's it. I'm going to faint or pass out or something. And my roommate walks in and she took one look at me, figured it out in 2.5 seconds flat. told him to leave. She's like, you need to go. It's time for you to leave. Say goodbye. Got me out of the chair, brought me into my bathroom, put me in the shower, ran the water to try to get me up, ran into the kitchen, started to make me some food. She got me back up a little bit, but almost 24 hours I slept after that interaction. Because not even knowing it, this person completely drained my energy. Now, was he a narcissist? Absolutely. He didn't stop talking about himself from the moment I met him at, 10 o'clock in the morning till the moment I almost passed out in my apartment at 3 p.m. Did not stop talking once and drained every ounce of energy. And I never had that happen. And I was surrounded by narcissists. I had never had it that bad in my life. But my God, was that an eye-opener. I was like, whoa, I have to be really careful. And that's when I started to research about porous energy and how your energy goes out into a million different ways and these hooks that people can put into you, and how narcissists specifically are drains on empaths. These interactions in our lives can be incredibly traumatizing. My parents had an ugly divorce. It was very traumatizing. I had some abusive relationships. Those things do not necessarily go away. You will never be the person that you were before the drama happens to you. Okay? You will never be the person that you were before the trauma happens to you. You can't be. You are going to be different. The question is, will you let it break you or make you? And it doesn't sound like you have a choice, right? But I want you to know you always have a choice. It may not outwardly seem that way. Someone could feel as if they're reaching their hand into your heart and ripping out your soul. And they could very well be doing that. But you don't have to concede to that story. You can change that story by the way you change your perspective. And that is how I freed myself from dealing with all these narcissistic personalities. I changed the story. The story was no longer about what they were doing to me or how they were affecting me or how they were stealing my light. I was alchemizing their energy. I was using their energy to give me power, to empower myself. And I thought, if energy could be neither created nor destroyed and it can only be transformed, then that means that I can alchemize any energy that comes my way and literally transform it for my highest good. That also means that if I do this enough and I really, really master taking this energy in and moving it around so that it doesn't take me down, but it lifts me up, then that means no matter what I come across in my life, I will always have the power, that's the key word, to change my circumstance. Because your circumstance has to change in your mind. It may not change outwardly at first. But that is the difference between people who go through traumas and come out on the other side with a very different perspective, and people who go through traumas and those traumas take them down. And I will not tell you that there were not moments in my life that my traumas took me down. 100% they did. But I wouldn't be here today if that didn't happen. I wouldn't have gone through this whole journey to figure out how do you energetically deal with a narcissist when they are vampires and you are porous and you really don't know how to shield against these people and they're constantly coming at you and you have this inner desire to people please and to love everybody and you want to see the good in everyone and you want to believe that humanity is generally good, and yet you keep coming up against these people that are proving otherwise to you. What do? Do you become that? Is it like the Dark Knight, right? And you become that with which you fight against? Or do you do something different? Can you evolve past it, through it? How do you make this work for yourself? And because I am a stupidly optimistic person, which can annoy the holy high hell out of a lot of people, I put myself in a position to really go in it and really figure it out. And I haven't figured it all out yet, but I'm on the journey. And as I figure it out, I will share all of these techniques and all of these things with you. The first thing with a narcissist that we need to remember is, do not tell yourself that you're crazy. Do not let anyone else say that you're crazy. You know right away somebody's gaslighting you. You know right away when somebody is being dishonest with you because you can feel that energy. The heart has an energy field that goes 3 feet out in front of you. Now, if you really want to research this, Google the Heart Math Institute. They go into this deep. It's amazing research that they've done over there. Your heart can feel long before a word is ever spoken. You walk into a room, you instantly know if somebody is your vibe and your tribe. The lesson is to trust your intuition. Empaths have this really annoying thing that we do where we don't trust our intuition. We desperately want to heal someone. We hear somebody's story and we're like, oh my God, I have to save you. No, 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 no. You do not have to save anyone. You can guide people. You can be a shoulder to cry on. You can be an ear to listen. This is a beautiful thing about an empath. We can be in service to others. We could do this through charity. We can do this through random acts of kindness. We could do this through showing up in everything that we do with our full and present self, but we cannot do it at the expense of ourselves. We cannot say yes when we really want to say no. We cannot agree to things that are not in our best interest. We can't ignore the physiological symptoms that happen when we are in the company of somebody who does not have our best interests at heart. We cannot continue to self-betray. If you continue to self-betray, you will never get out of the narcissist empath loop. It will continue and continue and continue. I was able to break free when I was finally able to face my fear. And what is the fear of an empath? An empath fears they will not be loved. They will not be needed. And if they're not loved and they're not needed, then they're worthless. So if you identify as an empath, you need to realize that you have porous energy that you need to learn how to close up. Close up your chakras, close up your aura. You can do things like call in your aura spikes, or you could cloak. I know it sounds a little wacky, but think of Harry Potter and that invisibility cloak. You could cloak yourself in the morning and put that invisibility cloak around you so that people are not sucking at your energy left and right. And you feel like you have a little more power over your energy centers. And if you start to do these self-protection things on a regular basis, you will realize that your energy centers stay a lot tighter. You'll notice you have more energy. You'll notice you have more clarity, more focus. And that's just on the protection. But you also have to do the cleaning house, the cleaning of toxic people. And when we clean house, folks, we are going to be removing people that we deeply care about. All kinds of people have these tendencies, and not everybody is a match for us. And you can't be afraid to do that elimination, because when you do, when you say to the universe, you know what, I get it now. I have to clear this. I have to clear that. All the universe will conspire to help you get to the next place. They will bring in the new people. They will bring in the fresh new energy. They will bring in the great new opportunities and the vibes. But if you find yourself stuck and at an impasse, it's usually because there's stagnant energy there. And when there's stagnant energy, it's because there are things we need to remove from our life, whether it's a job we have to get rid of, a person we have to get rid of, a toxic habit. It's a call to action. And I will tell you something about this dimension. This dimension requires the law of action. You cannot manifest anything in this dimension on thought alone. You must enact the law of action. In the higher dimensions, the fourth and the fifth, you can think something and it comes into fruition. On the third dimension, where we're in the dimension of material, right? We have the meat suit and it's a lot denser than the crystalline body that we would acquire when we get to the fifth dimension. We need action. We need actual energy in order to create our manifestations here in the physical world. Now, how does this play into a narcissist empath? Well, if an empath is being drained by a narcissist, then you are losing power. You are losing energy. And if you can imagine, if you're losing energy and somebody else is taking that energy, they're utilizing your power to bring into their sphere anything and everything that they want to manifest. And remember, a narcissist is usually coming at you with some level of envy. And that's why they'll be the first people to say, oh, she's so jealous of me, or he's envious. He's in competition with me. It's not that you're jealous of that person. They are envious of you. Projection is the hallmark of a narcissist. So a narcissist will sit there and tell you everything about themselves through a story about another. That's why they are your gossips. They are the people who can't let go of a story, or they're constantly tearing people down, or they're telling you personal things about somebody that's close to them. That is a huge warning sign, friends. If you are around somebody who is consistently talking badly about people who are close to them or people who were close to them, run. If they're talking to you, they're talking about you. Make no mistake about that. These people do not have loyalty to anyone. So don't be fooled into thinking that somehow you are this beautiful person who, if you just love them enough, they're going to change or they're going to be more loyal to you. No, they're not. They can heal. I absolutely believe that. But a narcissist has to be willing to heal, and they have to identify themselves as such. They have to see the shadow. They have to see the fault in their stars, so to speak. And the empath who's unhealed is the one who is constantly looking for that validation. So the empath also needs to do work. The empath needs to look at themselves. They need to boundary up. They need to be okay with the word no. They need to be okay with putting some space between people who do not make them feel good. When the empath finally heals themselves, they will have a very different level of power because their energy will be solely their own. When you pull all of your power back, watch how fast all of your manifestations start to come in. Watch how fast new opportunities come in, beautiful people, beautiful everything, because you are now fully able to use the law of action to bring in your manifestations. Without the law of action, everything is just potential. And without energy, you cannot create anything. So if you are consistently being drained by toxic situations, toxic jobs, toxic people, you will never have enough power to bring into this world what you were meant to bring. It's not easy to end relationships with people. It really isn't. It takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of fortitude. And there are situations where people truly do feel trapped. I know I was in one of them. And when you feel trapped, it is not a good feeling. And when people come after you, when people try to destroy your reputation, destroy your livelihood, destroy your family, it can be unnerving. And when that person who is doing it is somebody who you loved super deeply, who is very close to you, who is a family member, it's even more devastating. I have had people try to take me down many, many times who have tried their dangdest to destroy me, and I have thrived off that energy. And I know you can too. You're not going to let anything bring you down. You are going to be okay to have days where you feel sad, where you feel defeated, where you feel like you can't go on. That's okay. Feel it. Allow yourself to be there. Don't live there. But allow yourself the emotion. Emotions are not inherently bad. They are here to teach us something. They're here to be cathartic. They're here to open us up and to allow us to free. And we can cry and we can scream and we can have those emotions. Don't be afraid of your emotions. Learn how to control them, but don't be afraid of them. right? The minute you have that mastery, the minute you can really control the mind, the machine, the emotion, you will retain all of your power. These personalities that come into your life that are trying to manipulate you or gaslight you or lie about you or hurt you, they will not be able to touch you. You will be vibrating on a higher frequency. And when you get up to that level, they really can't bother you anymore. 90% of what we deal with is an energy game. We are having to figure out how to negotiate our energy, how to move with our energy, how to figure out where we are in the grand scheme of things. Your energy is your life force. Be careful who you give it to. Be discerning who you allow to sit at your table. Don't be afraid to ask people to leave. Don't be afraid to walk away. Know that it's okay to not vibe with somebody. Know that you don't have to save everybody. Understand that your inner body is telling you something when you get sick around certain people, or you have headaches, or you feel nauseous. It's all okay. Understand that there is nothing wrong with you, that your machine is working exactly as it is. Take your power back into your hands and take the next step forward. One foot in front of the other gets you down the path. You don't need to sprint. It's not a marathon. Being gentle with yourself is okay. Giving yourself the grace of time to heal is okay. Do not pick on yourself for attracting narcissists into your life. Don't get angry with yourself at the people that you choose or say, oh, I always do that. It's okay. It's a learning experience. It's actually here to teach you something. Yes, it is going to break you. No, you will never be the same. But it is not always bad. And when you stop looking at change as something that is inherently bad, and you start to look at it as something that is part of the experience and it's part of the whole, and in some weird way you may not be able to see right now, it's getting you to a better place. Because the law of rhythm means we go up and down in dips and crests and dips and crests, and everything moves in waves. Brain waves, heart waves, sound waves, light waves, microwaves, everything moves in waves. Everything has dips and crests. And when you know that there are going to be times in your life when you're in a dip and times of your life when you're in a crest. And it's all okay because that's exactly as it should be. So don't be afraid to cut off parts of your experience that are no longer serving you. Sometimes you just have to walk away. Sometimes you just have to put that distance. Obviously, there are situations where people have traumas and dramas that are on very high levels. And folks, if you are in a situation, I cannot stress enough, please, if you are in a very abusive situation, get help, call somebody, talk to somebody. There are hotlines. There are tons of places you can go for help. Do not sit in it. And please do not try to convince yourself that you are deserving of any sort of abuse, because nobody is deserving of that. So, how do we heal from the narcissist? Well, once they're out of your life, things will get a little bit difficult. It might be a little bit weird as your energy tries to negotiate itself. You might not feel the same because you're not the same. You're having a different relationship with your own being, a different relationship with your own energy. And when you heal, the same way when you try to glue something together that's shattered, it's not going to be perfect as it was, but it will be beautiful in its own way, because now you have experience. Now you have wisdom. You have taken this experience and used it for your highest good. You have told yourself any energy coming your way, you can alchemize that energy for your highest good. You can take that energy and literally imagine yourself pulling it up and giving yourself the grace of perfect health and well-being. Don't spend your time trying to fight energy. Trying to fight energy means that you are going to succumb to it. It's a lot of energy to fight. When you use that energy, Now you put yourself in a different situation. I'm going to show you one more thing before we go, something really cool that I learned from Ashayana Dean. She showed this example that's incredible, and I'd love to share it with you guys. Put an object in your hand. Close your eyes, really kind of focus on it for a second, and then move it to the next hand. And if you've done this right, you will know that the left hand, the object will feel heavier than the right hand. And that is because your left hand magnetizes energy and your right hand repels it. Now, why is this important for you to know? When you're around energy that you love, so you want to go in and give somebody a hug that you love, you come in with your left hand. That pulls that person to you. It's magnetizing. If you want to keep somebody at an arm's length, you go in with your right and you keep your right hand, the right side of your body. That will keep energy away from you. And this is important to know when you know how your energy systems work. When you want energy to leave your body, you move it out with your right hand. When you want energy to come into your body, you move it in with your left. Why is that important? Well, if you're around somebody that has inherently negative energy, a narcissistic person who's driving you crazy and draining your energy, you push their energy away with your right hand. You clear out your chakras with your right hand. But then when you go to put energy in and you run energy from the earth, run it with your left hand, because your left hand's magnetizing. Your left hand's going to pull that energy up into your body and into your auric field and into your chakras, right? So again, you repel, you magnetize, you repel, you magnetize. You are the most powerful tool that you have. And when you learn how to use this whole machine for your greater good, when you understand that the stories that you tell yourself are just stories and they can be rewritten, and the minute you can grab that power and you can call cut in an instant and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to be friends with this person anymore. Nope, not going to see this relative anymore. You know what? Cut. I think it's time for me to find a new job, a new boss. You get to tell the story the way you want to write it. You can do this instantly, anytime, anywhere. Call cut on those narcissistic relationships. Rewrite the story. Remember, you have more power than you think, and that empathetic heart is beautiful and golden, and you can still be in service to others without losing yourself. Thank you for joining me on Call Cut with Angelique. New episodes drop every Friday, so please come back and join us. We have some incredible guests. We're going to talk about some incredible topics, and we would love to have you here. If this content resonates with you, like, subscribe, and share to anyone that you think would enjoy it. Remember, life is a story, and it plays out as a movie. You are the director. You are the writer. Make it a good one. Always keep shining.